Hello, people that exist. This is a series review for Jinx by Sage Blackwood. So, this is the Jinx trilogy by Sage Blackwood, as said previously, which consists of Jinx, Jinx's magic, and Jinx's fire. This is one of my favorite series, if not my favorite series. I just finished my 7th time reading it. This video is explaining why, and why you should read it. So, to begin with, Jinx, I rated this 5.4 stars in my ridiculous rating system. Jinx's magic, 5.4 stars in my ridiculous rating system. And Jinx's fire, 5.8 stars in my ridiculous rating system. And, like, everything about this, from the world and characters, to the magic systems, to the mysteries and themes, like, morality as well, just everything about it is very, very well done. And that's all, I guess. Might as well get into the depths of the review, starting with the world. The world and magic systems of the Jinx trilogy are are extremely well done. The magics, like, you don't have a specific hard magic, soft magic thing. It's somewhere in between. We don't know the limits of their powers. Well, we know some of the limits, but we don't know what they can and can't do. And it seems to be different individually. And, like, the environments often, like the forest, and, like, the way it is a character, how all of that is done, it's just so incredible. And, like, life and death, the struggle between them, and the fact that balance is best. Too much life is just going to lead to more death. Too much death is going to lead to the demise of things that can die. And, like, how magics, different types of magic, can't mix. Like, you can't use knip, which is a type of magic, to undo spells of a wizard. That just doesn't work. And, like, different power between people and how they struggle, like, with greed and the way that different places have less life, like fewer trees, less life and stuff. And the plot armor in the series is, like, especially for the main character, it's like, this is an entire forest that can kill millions of people. That is basically solely trying to protect him and his companions. And, like, the curses can't be removed. That's just a small thing that makes it more realistic. Like, it is a part of you. And the world and magic are just so amazing. So now it's time to move on to the characters. The characters in this series might be the most important, the, like, most standout thing. Like, they have different beliefs, even if they're on the same side. And, like, the way they all interact with their environments is different. Whether it's fear or comfort or a mix of both, or, like, callousness because you don't know where you are and you don't know what the problems are. And, like, characters get into arguments over whatever thing that they happen to be arguing about. And then, like, you have a lot of, like, realistic sort of things that you don't get much in other books, like characters being obnoxious to each other, and being downright rude. It's just such an important part of making a good series, is giving them real characters that aren't nice. And then there are just, like, small things that no other author would think about, like Jinx is scared of heights, characters are vegetarian, another character's a light sleeper. And with the main character's ability to, like, see the emotions of people, people have different ways of expressing love and, like, anger, and he sees things through his own eyes, so, like through his own emotions. So he's probably being affected by himself. And that's all for this section, but it's just, like, such an incredible thing that you very rarely see otherwise. So now it's morality, and, like, the way morals are not a black and white thing, and they are very clearly expressed in this series as not a black and white thing. Like, life and death are not good and evil. It depends on the situation. Like, in this case, yeah, life and death are good and evil. But that doesn't mean that it always is. It's, you know, it's done much better than most series. It's like, there's a scale. Like, thinking of, there's this thing called the Mistletoe Alliance, which is, like, they share the knowledge of, like, a thing called the Temple in Samara, which is the place shown on the cover of Jinx's Magic. Like, and they smuggle stuff from, they smuggle books, and they give them to people to read. And it's like, is that the right thing to do? Is it a good thing, or is it a bad thing? And furthermore, like, what if they share it with bad people who will use it for bad things? Is it a good thing to take the knowledge and give it to people, or is it bad? And then also, like, arguments over this giant forest that has monsters and places people could live. Is it right to cut it down and harm its inhabitants, which are also humans? Like, is it right to do that? And the trees, which feel, and the main character can communicate with and feel the pain of. It's like, you know, it's hard to tell what is right and wrong in that case. And, like, the main character has thoughts of killing people and, like, wants the death of others. He doesn't want to want it, but, like, she does anyway, or he does anyway. Wow, I'm struggling to talk. And, like, it's just too hard to put as good, bad, right, wrong. That just makes it so much better than basically everything else around. There are questions in this series as well. Questions clearly asked and clearly unanswered, but not in a way that makes it unappealing. Like, they aren't important questions. They aren't questions that matter to the story. They're questions that give you extra information. They're just like, you get small pieces of information about stuff. And, like, why can't Jinx see the emotions of a specific character? Why can't curses be removed? Well, that's explained. Or, like, how did these portals between realms that people had never communicated with come to open, and how were they closed in a specific, like, battle of a time? Not like a fight, but like a struggle. How did everyone lose memory of them? And all of these things, like, what more could there be to this world that we don't even know of? that no one even knows of. It's just such an interesting thing to think about, and it's very, very enjoyable. But moving on. The themes of this series are also, like, very, very good and well portrayed as clear, but not clear enough to be unentertaining. Like, what are good and evil, and do they exist as we say? And, like, balance is the best thing there is. It's better to have balance than too much of one thing. Or, as my dad would say, everything in moderation, including moderation. And then, like, choosing your way and, like, having a different way than has been for years. Leaving your path. Leaving the path that's been set out for you. Or, as the final quote in the last book would be, it's, "You'll never get anywhere unless you leave the path." Being paraphrased, that, like, do would be, leave the path is in the place where do is in the actual book. But that's all I really have to say. I could talk about this series for hours, but I shouldn't in a video. So, I guess an outro it is. And that's it, really. This is just one incredible series, and I very highly recommend it. If you take nothing else from my videos, if you take one thing, it's read Jinx. It's a quick read, just a bit over 1,000 pages overall, and it's very hard to not enjoy. So, thank you for watching, and keep on existing.